Item 7, opt out of BC Hydro Wireless Smart Meter Program. Okay, our first speaker is Mr. Josh Del Sol.
And that documentation outlined, and first of all, I'm here to support Adrian Carr's motion. I think this is a very important issue for many reasons, and not the least of which is health. And I think that Mayor Robertson, his statement yesterday in another issue that health is of utmost importance, we need to look at that very closely. So in the documentation yesterday, it was outlined that in court-ordered documentation, PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, the smart meter, the utility company who's implementing smart meters in California, stated that there's 14,000 microwave transmissions per day from the average smart meter, and that goes to up to 190,000 microwave transmissions per day for the top 0.1%. So an average of 13,500. I should correct that 14,000. It's just over 13,500. And this is the kind of information that BC Hydro is saying as its cumulative effect of 60 seconds. That's true that it's 60 seconds, but it's every approximately 6 seconds for 4.5 milliseconds is a burst of wireless radiation that's been shown to be harmful to human health. Okay, so that's my first point. The second point is in the state of California, Santa Cruz County. They passed a ban on smart meters. And for a number of reasons. They backed their ban on smart meters with over 50 references of publicly available, scientifically peer-reviewed literature, including from the World Health Organization. And one of the major conclusions and the pieces of research that was part of their report was the fact that there's between 5.5 and 480 times the full body radiation exposure from a smart meter as compared to a cell phone. This is for a distance ranging of 1 foot to 10 foot. And it's very plausible to be 1 foot away from a smart meter if somebody doesn't know that it's installed and their head is right on the other side of that wall on which it's installed. This is 480 times more full body radiation than an active cell phone on current call.
One of the whole issues with the whole smart meter program is the fact that we don't have a choice in this matter. I have 3 on the side of the wall at my place of work. They make me feel sick. I have tinnitus, a constant ringing in my ears. I have sharp tingling sensations in my head. I have trouble focusing. I have burning eyes. I also live in an apartment building downtown, right above the electrical room. They haven't put them in there yet, but there would be 26 of them right underneath where I live. This is a great concern for all of the neighbors living in my building. I have people living with cancer, with heart disease, people who are pregnant, people who have newborns. Everybody in my building is incredibly stressed. I recently dropped off my daughter to her daycare, and right on the wall where they play outside is a receiver hub. I think if I step up on my tippy toes, I can actually reach it. And a receiver hub will be responsible for over 200 smart meters receiving information back and forth. I'm one of those unfortunate people that is very sensitive to wireless technologies. I can already feel the smart meters. Even though the grid is not officially on, they are still emitting signals. It's just not a two-way stream of communication yet. There have been significant reports on the health effects of these smart meters, and from the American Academy of Environmental Medicine, I just want to read that children are placed at a particular risk for altered brain development and impaired learning and behavior. Given the widespread chronic and essentially inescapable ELF and RF exposure from everyone living near a smart meter, the board of the American Academy of Environmental Medicine finds it unacceptable from a public health standpoint to implement this technology until these serious medical concerns are resolved. And they consider a moratorium of installation of wireless smart meters to be issued as the highest of importance.
I spent a week inside my house, not leaving too often, and by the time last Wednesday happened, my heart was palpitating. I had constrictions. I couldn't breathe. I was feeling very tired, extremely anxious, and I just basically booted out my house as fast as I could run and stayed at a friend of mine's place. So the meter, not only have I covered it with tin foil, plastered it with tin foil, I've put a brick of something called shieldite under it because it absorbs the immersions. And I thought that maybe that would allow me to live in the house. And that actually helped a little bit, but not to the compounded effect that these meters have on me. And what I see as a possible consequence of this not being dealt with is these meters have a compound effect. And if people that have these meters now that don't feel it, maybe they don't. Doesn't mean it's not affecting them. If they stay in the vicinity of these meters over the next 6 months, next year, 2 years, however long each individual person takes for these meters, it affect them, it will. Because I have felt it personally, my experience of it. And I've communicated with a lot of people that are going through the same challenges with these meters, especially if there's like 20 of them in one spot. They're going to dramatically affect our health.
CIA Director David Petraeus confirmed that governments will use wireless smart appliances to spy on citizens. Items of interest will be located, identified, monitored, and remotely controlled through technologies such as radio frequency identification, sensor networks, tiny embedded servers, and energy harvesters. He said this at a meeting of In-Q-Tel, the CIA's venture capital firm. He added this will prompt a rethink of our notions of identity and secrecy. What are we letting ourselves in for with this thing? I mean, just forget about the health effects. Why are we going to be spied on? Why are we putting this city in jeopardy of having a massive power failure? And since they want to connect all the grids across the continent, it could be a continent-wide power failure, which means there'd be no help from anybody from anywhere.
Our own House of Commons recommends non-industry funding for long-term studies. Who does it affect? Well, scientists are saying that it affects between 3 and 35% of the population right now, and they're estimating that it will go to 50% by 2017. So those people with compromised immune systems, those with pacemakers, defibrillators, insulin pumps, those with heart conditions, many people report the onset of health symptoms when the wireless smart meters are installed.
We are talking about wireless smart meter, and the word wireless is a big problem in what we're discussing. I'm an electronic technologist by trade. I have been working on the development in WADA, and I know exactly what I'm talking about as far as smart meters, the wireless smart meters are concerned. I also suffer on EHS. 3 times I sent a message to the mayor and council, and I also included in it information about the technology, what the problem is. I didn't even get an answer from you. And so this is why I'm eager to speak today, so I can tell you that it is absolutely necessary that you do something about these smart meters.
I have a couple of questions as well. I want to know why in the Clean Energy Act it doesn't specify that smart meters need to be wireless. In Idaho and Italy, they're wired in. Why didn't BC Hydro look into that option of wiring in our smart meters? I also want to know why the cost in BC is also almost double of the cost of the smart meters in Ontario. This is a democratic society, and I feel like something has been forced on me without my knowledge or consent, and it's outrageous that I've had to consider possibly where I can live. Because if they install 26 smart meters into my apartment, I can no longer live in my apartment. So to be forced to have to consider where I need to move, to me is just an outrageous choice. I'm a citizen of Vancouver, born and raised here. And there's a lot of people voicing these concerns, and they have to be heard. 40 other municipalities in the province of British Columbia have spoken up and either asked for an opt-out or a moratorium, and I'm praying that Vancouver joins those 40 municipalities and gives us a choice to say no, because they're making us sick and they're making me sick. Thank you very much.